which is really focused on being a franchise entrepreneur, what that means, what that's all about. And we have a specialist panel of franchisors here today in order to answer your questions. So, gentlemen, and I think we're going to be joined by Kate in a moment from Right at Home. But Tim, would you just like to start us off, just to introduce yourself and your franchise and the sort of people that you're looking for to join your franchise?
Okay, thank you, Nick. Hello, everybody. My name is Tim Holdsworth. I am one of the business growth specialists for ActionCOACH. ActionCOACH is a business that revolves around helping the business community grow and succeed in whatever capacity that is that the business owners want. We're very much, we've been going for 28 years. We have a system that's been developed over 28 years to grow a business, but it's very much the people that we coach in order to help them implement the system to grow their own businesses. And what we're looking for as far as franchisees are concerned is we strive for world class. So what we want is people who have the same ethos, who want to help the business community have a connection with people. That's what we're looking for.
Excellent, thank you. So, John, what about yourselves? Yourself and your franchise, and who you're looking for to join your franchise?
Thanks, Nick. Yeah, my name is John Kent. I'm the MD of the White Rose Finance Group. We have been trading as finance brokers since 2004. We are FCA regulated. We achieved principal status with the FCA in 2014. What that means is we have elevated authority to bring people into our networks. So people that want to become finance brokers, they need to join a network and have that authorization. So we supervise and authorize people to operate in the field. We have over 150 members of our commercial finance network. And what we're looking for at the moment is to attract people into our regulated residential mortgage proposition, Your Mortgage Plus, who would also have access to the other areas of what we do. But for people who want to become finance brokers, we want to have that process managed and assisted with a ready-made business opportunity at the back end. So I suppose we're looking for entrepreneurial people that can operate professionally with integrity within a regulated environment and look out for their customers, because it's about customer service for us, Nick.
Fantastic, thank you, John. Hi, Kate. Good to see you. Can you just introduce yourself and your franchise and the sort of people that you're looking for to join your franchise business?
Of course, Nick, and first apologies for the connection problems earlier. Yes, I'm Kate Dilworth. I'm the franchise recruitment manager for Right at Home. So I support with the careful expansion of our network. Right at Home is a provider of very high quality home care and companionship services. So a regulated industry. We are a network with 70 offices around England and Wales, and we're just opening up in Scotland. And franchising provides a fantastic opportunity for people to move into the care sector and areas, industries such as that are very highly regulated and might be quite a daunting proposition to move into without the support of a franchise behind you because of the level of compliance with legislation. So that's a huge part of the support that we provide, but very, very well-rounded business support to launch a management franchise operation that is obviously in a very highly rewarding sector to give people the independence to enjoy living on their own in their own homes. So first and foremost, what we look for in franchise owners is that empathy for our clients, that desire to go out and make a real difference in people's lives. As Tim and John were talking about, absolutely customer service has got to be at the heart of their motivation. And it's really for us attitude and values above professional experience, because that is the joy of franchising, that we can support people to make that jump into a new sector.
Okay, thank you, Kate. So, Tim, if I can just start with you with the first question, please. So, how do you encourage and nurture that entrepreneurial spirit within your ActionCOACH franchisees?
Yeah, well, our mission is to have world abundance through business re-education, and you can always rely on an action coach for a good quote. So Jim Rohn said, if you want to succeed in business, work harder on yourself than you do on your business, and that's pretty much what we encourage. Education is key to what we do, and key, it's not just for our coaching clients, it's also for our coaches as well. So we encourage them to learn. We put on education. We have an hour's coaching session every morning for all the 240 coaches in the UK. We have weekly education slots with well-known authors and thought leaders. The conferences that we put on, I mean, we just had Sir Alan Sugar and Paul McKenna on our last conference. We expose, as much as possible, we expose our coaches to educate them to better themselves. We don't wish things were easier, just wish we were better and work on that.
Right, so it's really fueling through education and support from what you're saying to help your franchisees be all they can be. That's what I'm hearing from that.
Yeah.
And John, so thinking about the quality of the individual, obviously you've got the business system that's tried and tested and proven, but what about the primary qualities of people coming into your franchise? What do you look for to help them maximize their potential and their success?
Yeah, thank you, Nick. And we are, first and foremost, we're a regulated sector. So fundamental to anybody that's looking to become a regulated mortgage broker who is offering financial advice to consumers is they need to be able to operate with integrity. Clearly, honesty and professionalism are absolutely key. Customer service we've mentioned already, but it's got to be about that customer service process that they take people through. The FCA fundamental principle is TCF, which stands for treating customers fairly. So we need people that are going to come through and provide advice which is right for the client rather than right for the individual. And there is a process in which we bring them through to make sure they're fit and proper. So it's the qualities that we're looking for are people that will put the customer first, that want to provide advice. They have to have a commercial intent to this. They've got to make sure their business works. And therefore, they should be looking at other products within our portfolio that will also assist and help the client, so they as franchisees can become financially successful by helping their clients. And by doing that, they will naturally build their business because their clients will refer them on to other clients, and they'll have organic growth within the business. So to us, it's about getting the qualities, the right people in the first place. Attitude, I think Kate mentioned, attitude and values, again, absolutely fundamental to what we need. It's a commercial proposition, but driven by looking after clients and finding the right solutions for them. So someone who's very much commercially, but client focused.
Okay, so it's not about really inventing anything new. It's about really applying with enthusiasm that's already there, really on a plate for them your franchisees to get those clients developed and commercially develop their business. It's not about having to come up with anything. It's already there for them to put into practice.
It is. I probably just ought to add that there are qualifications, CMAP qualifications that anybody would need to pass in order to add to advise on these products and services. Will help them with it, ensuring they achieve those qualifications, but they will give the guidance and education to ensure that they get to the right level. And ongoing support is provided from within the network here, the lenders, the service providers, that will also provide ongoing access and support to them. But yes, everything is there for them to ensure they're operating at the right level, but they have to have those initial qualities that we've talked about, Nick.
Right. Okay. So qualities is coming across very clearly. Obviously, Kate, people sometimes say that franchising is a business in a box. It's all wrapped up for someone to come in and take on and take forward. But what kind of work-life experience or qualities or even industry experience are looked for or necessary in order to succeed in franchising or your franchise?
Well, it can work both ways, experience, can't it, in terms of your professional experience. What we often find is people coming into looking at buying their own franchise are actually looking at quite a culture shift. A lot of them coming from big business, perhaps corporate careers, into a small office environment where it's going to be themselves, in a very hands-on role at the beginning of the startup. So really, I think adaptability is very important. Experience for us, that's valuable experience, often is actually having gone through the process of setting up a business before, because then people understand what it takes and the dedication and the mindset that is required. So that's always really useful experience, but it's not a problem at all. Where people don't have that, that's our role to prepare them for that and to give them everything, the resources that they need. But we are very careful in the evaluation process to make sure that people get a very honest assessment of what the business involves, so that they can compare their skills, they can identify transferable skills. In our business, it comes down to people skills, relationships, team building, and as John touched on before, being able to work in a system as well proactively. Some people, that's a very clear requirement of franchising. There's a proven system there to be followed, and people have to be comfortable working in that environment where there is hopefully the opportunity to flourish with entrepreneurial skills as well. But some people that might not be very well very comfortable in that environment of following a franchise system. So we really just look to get to know people who are looking at the franchise system very well as much as they dig into our business model. We like to get to know them so we can help them with that evaluation of where their experience is going to be relevant, and where, to all intents and purposes, you're looking at starting again and developing new skills in a totally new area.
Right. So very much a two-way selection process by
Absolutely.
the sound of it.
Yeah.
Excellent. So Tim, it's been a very challenging 18 months for all of us, and I'm curious to know, when it comes to your franchisees, how have they reacted to that? What's been the experience over the past year and a half, and how have people done? How has ActionCOACH been supporting franchisees? It'd be interesting to get that kind of flavour, what it's like being a franchisee in disrupted times.
Yeah. We have to say, this has been one of our, as far as performance is concerned, has been, really, really good. I'm in awe of our coaches. They have wrapped their arms around their fellow coaches because they've realized that we're stronger together, to give that moral support, but also that education that I was talking about from a support perspective. But it didn't stop there. It's also about their local business community and creating that somebody called it a tribe the other day, which I thought was quite a good way of putting it. But it's about that collective strength. So bringing businesses in and helping them survive what has been a real showstopper. It's very much about helping them traverse that rocky road to get through the other side and then thrive. I mean, some businesses have found it really, really easy. Other businesses, it's just been completely devastating. But bring everybody together, and our coaches have done that spectacularly. From a head office perspective, again, it's about education. It's about bringing each other together. It's about sharing that collective experience that makes us stronger and makes our clients stronger.
So in times of difficulty, it's very much that collective mindset and that education, which is that bedrock that runs through the business by the sound of it. So anyone that joins ActionCOACH really needs to really understand that there's no lone rangers. Welcome.
No, not at all. We're all in this together, and it's we will succeed together. So.
Right, excellent, John. I think it's an important point probably for everyone looking at a franchise. Obviously, the disruption of the last 18 months is very much on all our minds. So, what has been your and your franchisees' experience during this difficult time?
Yeah, we've, I think, been fortunate, Nick, in that we are one of those sectors that there's been a continuous need for. Specifically talking about the Your Mortgage Plus franchise, which is looking after regulated residential mortgages, a number of things have actually assisted in that people still need to refinance, people still wanted to buy property, and although for a couple of months the things went slowed down significantly, actually the housing market is one of those things that always seems to continue. And I think where people have maybe not spent money going abroad, having holidays, they've looked at either investing in their own properties or purchasing additional properties. So our network, through again working together, as Tim says, and our communications, recognize methods by which they could network online, still continue to build those relationships that they needed to get the message out there that actually we've still got access to finance, we can still give you the advice, we can still build those relationships, and using and utilizing the new technology like we are doing today to reach out probably further than they've ever done before. So we've been absolutely amazed at the continued success, the innovation, the resilience of the people within our network to not just manage to survive, but actually flourish in this environment. And a lot of what we've all learned, we'll take forward and do again in the future to make us more successful. So thankfully, a sector that's not really been crushed, but also we've taken those opportunities to help our network, Nick.
Yeah, I guess to some extent there have been those that have been lucky and those that haven't in terms of their markets. But what's coming across is that there's that collective, those systems, and perhaps the scale of operations through the infrastructure that a franchisor can provide that a sole operator would never be able to get access to. You've got that far bigger operating platform, technically and as a collective. So I think those are really good points. Kate, you know, in your sector, clearly people need to be cared for, don't they? No matter what happens.
Yeah, certainly the last 12 months has underlined the resilience of the sector and the model. And franchise owners.
So how have your franchisees done? How have you supported them? You know, how have they got along during the past year and a half?
It was, well, at the beginning, particularly of the pandemic, they went through, I think, a very stressful period of having to very quickly adapt the business model to be able to ensure the continued safety of staff and clients, to maintain the quality of our services whilst going into that more remote environment for training and onboarding, for example. And I think absolutely the feedback that we got was that the franchise owners have never valued being part of a franchise, you know, in quite the same way as when they were incredibly supportive of one another. As you know, the peer support was immense. The leadership and the communication from the franchisor was really key to keeping everybody on track. Lots of actual sort of supportive well-being calls, and not quite hand-holding, but just checking, are you okay? How's everybody coping? How's things in your team? You know, having that direct reassuring presence from the leadership of the franchise and from one another, and the support obviously to get the business model adapted, pivoted and turned around quickly and able to respond. And as a result of that, they had actually a record year in terms of sales, and the office was able to adapt their business and build on that. So what we did take was a slightly more cautious view with launching new businesses, because in our business model there's a lot of emphasis on face-to-face networking, community engagement and relationship building. So it wouldn't have been an ideal time to start. So we did have conversations with those that were looking to launch about the timing of that and whether, you know, when the most appropriate time would be. So we just tried to take the most responsible possible attitude to protecting their investment with careful timing, and that again has worked very successfully to just put some people on hold for a little while. So yeah, it's been a really eventful year, but we're grateful to have been able to support the NHS in a lot of ways as well, and the government. Yeah,
excellent. Yeah, so that's another thing that's coming across, that it's not only care about the franchisees that are practicing and their clients, but also people considering joining the franchise. You're not in a race to get people through the door.
Not a sprint.
Yeah. Well, that's good to know, and I think that's really reassuring as well. One thing that I think is coming across, Tim, is that in franchising, obviously, every quality franchise is proven. They've all got those systems. They've all got those qualities and those support. And so it then often boils down to the differentiation of, if there are a few good franchises out there, I can only choose one. So which one is going to be right for me? So what tips have you got for anyone as they go through that consideration process for themselves?
Yeah, that's personal, very personal to the individual. I mean, obviously the look.
Yeah, best tips to think about.
Look at what other franchisees are doing. Look at the good ones. Within a specific franchise, look at the members that are doing really well. Look at the members that aren't. If you're entering into a franchise, I would really be looking at what are my key objectives? Why am I doing this? Is it do I want a lifestyle business, or am I building a business, or is it just something operationally that I'm really good at? So you need to answer that question. But whatever you do, whenever you buy a business or you enter into a business, have a plan. Decide what the first steps are and what the end result is going to look like. Yeah,
fantastic. John, what with this plan in mind, what questions would you hope that anyone that you speak to would come to you and ask you? I'm sure you have plenty for them, but what would you want them to bring for you?
That's a really good question, because actually part of our selection process is what questions they're asking us, and if they're not asking the right questions, we push back. We don't want to bring anybody through to fail, so we want to make sure that they're thinking about the key things. And because ours is very much a transactional franchise, and it's about building relationships and generating business, where are they going to find their leads? And there's the market that we've got is a 1.2 trillion pound market, so it's huge. But these new entrants to this market have got to work out how do they get their leads, and there's lots of ways of doing that. I won't go through that now. But so they've got to make sure that however they're going to do that, it fits their skill sets. Because if actually what they've got to do is to go out and build relationships with people and develop a market, promote themselves and develop a presence in an area and be that one front person, their skill set's got to manage, has got to allow them to do that naturally. We can give them tips and techniques to do it better, but if they're not confident and comfortable in the environment that they need to do that, then it's not going to be right. And I suppose so that's the point. Whatever franchise you're looking at, what are the skills required to be successful in that franchise, and make sure that they match your skill set. Your due diligence on the business is absolutely right to do, but bring it back to you. As Tim said, it's very personal. Does it match what your skill set is and what your aspirations are? Because if not, it doesn't matter how successful that franchise is or how successful the top franchisee is. If you can't do what they can do or naturally fit into that environment, then it's not for you. So bring it back to yourself and does it fit for you?
Fantastic. So Kate, when someone goes into that process, how can they get a sense of how they're doing, how they're getting on? What should they expect? And it's two-way assessment, but you want to know how what the pro steps are going to be, how you're getting, when you might realize that this is not right for me, or whether I really need to progress. So what is that process? How would someone know how they're getting on?
Well, I think at Right at Home we are fairly well renowned for honesty in that process, actually, because we don't want to waste anybody's time. We appreciate people who are looking at going through a process of trying to find the right franchise, and we will at the beginning outline our process very clearly. and we take it step by step, and after each step of the process, we come back and we review, and we give honest feedback, and we only move on to the next stage if both parties are happy to do that. And I think, you know, people should expect to be challenged in a positive way, because any ethical franchisor, as you say, will want to do their due diligence likewise, and to be satisfied that, you know, we want to be able to support a network of successful and happy business owners. And I'd add on to what John was saying about skill set, and also think, is this, you know, are you going to, we want to recognize in somebody that they've got the passion for the sector, you know, that they are going to enjoy coming into this business, because, you know, it's obviously increases everybody's chance of success if they've got that natural motivation, and that it's a business that really suits them and that they enjoy. So I think, you know, be honest, present your honest self, be honest in the questions that you're asking and the feedback that you're giving. And consult friends. I always advise people to consult their friends and family as well, you know, and to listen to what they say. But in terms of what they can expect from us, we are always very open and honest, because it just simply wouldn't be fair to waste people's time. You know, you're not coming into this process to be sold to. So yeah, there's a very clear process. People know how long it's going to take and what the requirements are for each stage.
Excellent. So when it comes to ActionCOACH, when it comes to the assessing process, is it a case of the franchisor providing those steps, or does the franchisor say, well, what do you think? What should we do? Shall we meet on Zoom? Shall we meet in the corner shop? Shall we have a coffee? You know, where does that role fit in? Because there's kind of a definite leader role, isn't there? There's a leader, follower. There's a building. Where does that come into it? What's the franchisor's place and responsibility in the onboarding of a new franchisee, Tim?
Yeah, I mean, there is quite a robust process that we would take a potential new franchisee through. It can be quite a challenging business, so that the process to allow that individual to deselect themselves if they wanted to. Right. However, what a franchisee could expect from us is a healthy dose of challenge, because we aspire, with the world's largest coaching organization, we aspire and achieve world class every day. So whoever's coming into the business, that's what we expect of them as well.
Yeah,
however,
they're representing you and themselves and the brand, aren't they?
Absolutely. Yeah. But there is a massive amount of support that goes along with that, through that selection process or deselection process.
Right, excellent. So finally, John, what in terms of the selection process, what are you really looking to achieve from that, not only for yourself, but the people that you're speaking to?
Well, our selection process, first and foremost, starts with conversation. We try to give as much information as we possibly can, answer as many questions as we can. We have lots of live Q&As with existing franchisees that tell it how it is as well. So we don't, like Kate says, we're not here to sell. We're trying to give information for people to make the right decision. Now, if people are comfortable, they want to proceed and make that decision, we've got a fit and proper process that we're obliged to bring people through, because we're regulated. So there's quite a detailed financial process we bring people through. They need to be solvent, and we need to see their professional history. And I suppose all the things that you'd expect in a it's almost a deselection process, as Tim says. They've got to satisfy everything that we, on behalf of the FCA, would see as this person is fit and proper to provide advice to people in this environment, and they're comfortable with what we've told them. So it's two-way, but there'll be some hurdles to go through before we can say, yes, we can bring you through. And then there's the exam as well, which means they've got to pass a certain level of financial acumen on the CMAP. So Nick, hopefully that gives you a brief summary of what we'd be looking at.
Definitely. Well, Tim, John and Kate, thank you very much for your insights. I'm sure that anyone watching has found a lot of value. And I think what they'll probably want to do now is speak to you. speak to you on your stand because I'm sure they're bursting with their own questions. So just as a quick roundup, you haven't all got your branding behind you, but so can you just let's just finish by giving your name and your franchise and invite people to come over and continue the conversation with you. So Tim, could you start us off?
Yeah, I'm Tim Holdsworth. I am one of the business growth specialists, i.e. a coach for ActionCOACH UK. I'd be delighted to talk to anybody. We are an exhibitor here on this.
Excellent. And you're on the stand today, yeah?
I'm on the stand today.
Fantastic. And people can speak through chat or through video, and
Yeah.
a number of people on the team. So John, what about yourself?
So John Kent, I'm the MD of Your Mortgage Plus is the brand that we're promoting. We have a stand here. Myself and my colleague Laura Fieldhouse and Joe Newton will also be available on the stand. And like you've just said, we can chat either via video or via email or by phone, whichever way you want to. But there'll be people on the stand throughout. I'm going to be heading there shortly. So hopefully I'll be able to catch up with any questions that people have.
Fantastic. And Kate, just to finish.
Yes, thank you. I'll be returning to the Right at Home stand, and there is a team of us there today and tomorrow. Very happy. And I understand during the week as well, people will be able to return and revisit if they wish. So we'd be very happy to answer anybody's questions, learn a little bit more about their inquiries.
Okay, very good.
Well,
thank you everyone, and thanks for the participants. I can see quite a few people have joined this session, so thanks for joining us, and please head on over to the stands and keep those conversations going. Okay, thank you very much for now. Thank you all.
Thank you.